Hello and welcome to Ref Sports. This is Mohor Chaudhary. Welcome to another post-match show. And joining me today for this show is Snehashish Mukherjee and Vaibhav Tripathi also joins us as we speak. What an it was a proper thriller match. We did not know where it was going, but ultimately, this match still keeps DC alive in the playoffs race. And Punjab Kings register yet another loss. It's four defeats on the trot now. So, of course, pressure will start to mount for them. And they will try their best to climb up the ladder. But first things first, Snehashish, I'll go to you. How difficult was it to write the match report of this game? How challenging was it at the last few overs? How did you struggle?
Yes, yes, I think it was a struggle because I was not, getting that understanding that
Yeah.
what can be the result. I think after the dismissal of David Miller, I thought, okay, it's game done for DC. I think
Yeah.
PBKS will go on winning this game, but didn't expect Madhav Thiari to bat that well, and Ashutosh also. Again, I think in last game or maybe the second last game, he got few runs. I think that gave him that confidence. And now again, I think excellent knock today.
Last game he was the
Last game.
highest run scorer. Yes.
Yes, last game, yes. So that gave definitely gave him the confidence, and which already we saw that in today's knock also. 24 runs in 10 balls, excellent, proper impact from an impact player that used by DC. But Madhav Thiari, I think excellent. I think DC will be very much happy to see. And finally, Axar Patel, the batter. The way he batted, the strike rate was fantastic. The intent was there, and didn't hesitate to play his shots. Excellent. And I think we have been talking about that why you don't play David Miller in every game. Again, he proved today. David Miller did the job for DC. So excellent. I think this is the first time 200 plus total has been chased in this way at this venue. So record breaking chase for DC, and what a day to do it, right? A must winning game to keep themselves alive, and they did that. But concerns for PBKs for sure. Four straight loss, and not at the right moment in the context of the tournament.
Absolutely. And Vaibhav, Snehashish brought up Axar Patel. We have been discussing quite a bit about him, especially about his batting. But today, I think the appropriate term would be that he rose to the occasion. He realized that his team was in trouble. And typical Axar Patel knock in a crunch situation after a collapse. We've seen these kind of knocks from him previously as well for the in the Indian colors. But this time he rose to the occasion as the captain leading from the front. What are your thoughts on the kind of impact that he left?
I think this was his most complete performance, not just this season. If you look at the last season as well, the first half obviously went in DC's way and Axar Patel, the captain's way. But the second half, I think from there the downfall started. Even this season, the start was good, 2 wins, but again they lost the momentum and they started losing a lot of games. So I think, if you look at DC's last 15-20 games, I think this was Aksar's best game. And today, what he did, he gave himself time, batting higher up the order. That's what we were asking. That only happens when you have cushion in the lower middle order. Today you had a Madhav Thiari. Today you had Akim Navi, bowling all rounder. Of course, not batting all rounder, but bowling all rounder. So, but you had all rounders in there, and see what contributions they made with the bat against the expectations. Like Sneshish mentioned, that after David Miller's wicket, it could have gone either way, and more so on the Punjabi because there was inexperience. Madhav Tiwari debutant. Akib Nabi hasn't batted in this season. Even if he has got opportunities, he hasn't made it count. But they did it for their team today, and it was good. See, wicket was always on the good side. We said in the pre-match only. I said it's going to be another high-scoring affair because first match of at this venue of this.
Out here. So we will take a few comments uh, by the time they come back. Okay. So many catch dropping and wides from PBKs. Yes, it's a very big concern. Okay, and Vaibhav is back.
Okay,
Okay, so all of you left, leaving me
I don't
alone
know
on the line.
what is up
But
at
it's
my end.
fine.
Sometimes it's the electricity, sometimes it's the net. But
I
anyways,
understand. I
coming back
understand.
to coming
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to
yeah.
Akshar
Please go
Patel,
ahead.
I think see, as I said, it was always about the load of captaincy that Akshar was getting burdened by. Today, it was, I don't know whether it was the team management or he decided that he will take some time in the crease. And see, when you go out with nothing to lose kind of approach, you
Yeah.
know, you made wholesale changes. See, I don't think DC were expecting a lot from this game. That's why they made these changes. You know, these many uncapped players, if you're playing, whether it's Akib Nabi, Madhav Tiwari, Abhishek Porel, then who else? That guy,
Sahil Parak.
Sahil Parak was also there. You had so many uncapped players, and you made five changes, and still it worked because you went with a nothing to lose approach, and you are like, see, we are going to try. As I said in the premise, they are going to try out new players now. So that's what happened. But Akshar, kudos to him. I don't know whether team management or him decided that he will bat and take some time, but it was an excellent decision. See, we have seen this in the pre-match also. I said he has done it time and time again for Indian team. Whether you remember the 2024 final as well, or last year Champions Trophy, couple of knocks where he was batting at number 5 ahead of KL Rahul, ahead of Ravindra Jadeja. He was doing the job. So Indian team has a lot of trust in Akshar Patel, the batter. He obviously he has some problems against fast bowling, but against spin he's a very good batter. Being in limited overs cricket, Test cricket. So Akshar Patel doing justice to his ability with the bat was the standout, was the biggest takeaway from this game. Going ahead as well, hope he continues this one. But I think this game was, one moment I would feel that will not be highlighted just because of the figures of that bowler was Mitchell Stark taking those two important wickets at the end of Marcus Stoinis, Shashank Singh. See, those two batters could have made a huge difference. Look at a Marcus Stoinis form in the last few games. His hitting form has been the best. If you compare it with Suryan Shedge's, also has been in great form. So Suryan
And
Shedge and Marcus
and one
Stoinis.
more thing, only 7 runs in that last over from Lungi Ngidi. Despite that
Exactly.
4 over plus.
Lungi
Yeah.
Angedi didn't had a great game overall,
Hmm.
but if you look at the way he bowled the last over, and again, see, Shreyas Iyer a set batter, and
Yeah.
but that's why it's like Mitchell Stark. If you look at his overall figure,
Hmm.
it won't tell you the impact that he had on his last spell.
Yeah.
And those two important wickets, Marcus Stoinis, Shashank Singh, few cameos, a couple of hits could have game could have been completely different. That is, these contributions matter. And then the lower middle order came to DC's rescue. Up till now, it was KL Rahul doing runs, scoring the runs. Pathum Nisanka, 2 games Nitish Rana scored. So it was top order. But today it was good to see that DC's middle order, lower middle order coming to the rescue, and they had good support. Everybody contributed, not just Ashutosh Sharma, not just
Yeah.
Akshar Patel, not just David Miller. It was Madhav Thiari as well. It was Akib Nabi as well. So overall, a good game. But again, few concerns from Punjab Kings. Why they only used 5 bowlers when they had options? So again, another talking point out of
Yeah.
this game.
Absolutely. And since Vaibhav brought up Punjab bowlers, and of course we were talking about DC bowlers as well and how they've been impressive. Snehashish, my question to you will be about Punjab's bowling. It has been concerning, not just tonight, but throughout the game, especially pacers leaking runs, giving away extras one after the other. It has been very concerning. Barring Arshdeep Singh tonight, I think he was really, really good on this pitch. But barring him, that and the impact that he had, what is going wrong with this entire bowling department?
Yes, very surprising. I think when you have options like Yuzvendra Chahal to your service, it's very surprising
Yeah.
that you are not using someone like Chahal. I feel great and I feel great. But it's okay. I think absolutely, as you mentioned, I think Asdeep was fantastic today. 21 runs in 4 overs, 2 wickets. Excellent. I think the way he bowled. But other bowlers, didn't look that much in control also and very, very, indisciplined. I think the wides have been a big, big problem for them. The way they have managed to give those extras, I think that have hurt them in this consecutive 4 losses. And again today, I think while talking to broadcaster after the game, Shreyas was asked about that. Right? Why not you use someone like a spinner, someone like a Chahal? I think he mentioned that obviously there was a thought in my mind that obviously there is an option, but the way ball was swinging and we are seeing the seam movement and all everything. I thought maybe the seamers will be a good option for me. So it's okay. He went with his gut feeling. See, I think after that Prabsimran catch to dismiss David Miller, I think
Mm.
90% of PBK's fan thought that that game is done for them.
Game is
The
done.
game is in their pocket. But you can expect that this kind of cameos might come against you, and in this format that can happen. And I think Dew also played a huge factor. If you see, so many PBK's fielders were slipping while getting while
Yeah.
saving balls. I think Dew was heavy, and I think that didn't help them at all. And maybe that is why, maybe, despite scoring 210, you might tell that, considering the due factor what they faced, that they might have scored 20 or 30 run less, because as Vaibhav mentioned, that in the death overs they could have added more, especially the last over. And if you see the middle over, I think they scored 72 runs in the power play
Yeah.
without losing
Yeah.
a wicket. And
Yeah.
then in the middle overs, I think they lost the momentum quite a bit. I think Cooper
Mm.
Connolly's innings was not that much of helpful. 140 strike
Mm.
rate in these conditions was not that much of helpful, and that maybe kind of hurt their momentum in the middle order.
I'll follow up on that where you ended your answer. So I mean, obviously on social media while the match was on, and there's a lot of buzz regarding Shreyas Iyer promoting himself up the order, especially given the fact that Cooper Connolly did score a century in the previous game while playing at number three. How do you look at this shuffle? What was the strategy behind it?
Again, very surprising one, because it is not the case that Cooper Connolly has failed so far in that position, right? He has
Exactly.
scored runs, he scored 100, though it came on a losing note, but it was a fantastic 100 from his end. But see, I think at number four, Shreya Iyer has been a very good option. In Indian
Yeah.
colors, also we have seen that the way he has settled into that position, he has been fantastic. But maybe there might be some idea, or maybe some kind of acceleration they would have thought that they can get by promoting Sweater at number three. That is why maybe he went out at number three in spite of having an informed Cooper Connolly. But again, I will mention that despite sending Cooper Connolly at number four, I think he struggled today. 140 strike rate in this pitch, I think that time that kind of affected their momentum in the middle order, and that is why maybe they ended up maybe 20, 30 run short, comparing the due that they faced in the second innings while bowling. So maybe that played a huge part. Yes, Mohor is back maybe.
Yeah, yeah, I'm back. Sorry. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
this site keeps misbehaving. Anyway, so yeah, you were saying?
Yes, so mentioning that only, that uh, maybe it was kind of an idea that, okay, by promoting Shreya we can get a
Yeah.
more acceleration at the top. That might be an
Mm.
idea, but again, at number four, Coupon Connolly, that knock of 140 strike rate, at 140
Mm.
strike it didn't help that much. I think
Mm.
that kind of affected their momentum in the middle overs, and that is why, despite scoring 48 runs in the last 4 overs, they ended up around 210. They should have ended around 30 to 40 maybe after a 72 run power play start. So I think ultimately, when you face this kind of due in the second innings while bowling, always you think that, okay, we should have or could have scored more 20, 30 run to give that extra cushion to our bowlers.
Absolutely. And Weber, today in this entire game, we did not see even one over of spin. I mean, very rare. This doesn't happen quite often. What would be your assessment of this? What was the strategy behind it? Was it the wicket? Just talk us through it.
See, I don't know. This baffled me, and I think it has happened for the first time in IPL history. Since
Absolutely.
the day started, that not just that spinners not playing a part in the game. I'm saying that Kuldeep Yadav, Yuzvendra Chahal, both Kuldeep not playing, Yuzvendra Chahal playing but not bowling on. I think both being a part of a game, an IPL game, and not bowling a single over. Kulcha not being there in the scene is very surprising. I don't know when it will happen again. I don't think it will, but again, this game continues to surprise me, and if not this game, this league continues to surprise me every day. And I think, see, if you look at from the assessment point of view, I have seen from in the flat test of the wickets, whether it's a Wankhede, Chinnaswamy, spinners, bowling. Look at RCB; they keep on playing a Surya Sharma and Krunal Pandya, whatever the curators provide wicket in Chinnaswamy. So they don't care about the wicket; they go with their best combination. You have to back your best bowler. Look who has been your best bowler. Even in the last game, it despite having missed chances of his bowling, Yuzvendra Chahal was your best bowler last game. He is the best bowler of this league. In the history of this league, he's been the
Absolutely.
best bowler. And you are not. I don't
Very
see.
baffling.
Today means I was praising Shreyas Iyer's captaincy in the pre-match. I don't know whether I jinxed him or not, but
No, no,
I
today.
don't know. It is very surprising. what reasons he gave or might have already given behind, not because if I am asking, if I am a from broadcaster's point of view, if I am asking this question, I would first, whoever comes to the presser, even Shreyas Iyer, first question, why not use ECL? Why not use ECL is the
Absolutely.
first question. We will address other concerns afterwards, fourth
Hmm.
loss or other things. But first thing, why not use ECL? Any injury concern or your plan? I think we'll have to see. But
He
baffling.
was
It is a
fielding
baffling
really
call.
well. I don't think it was an injury concern.
Baffling
Be
again.
baffling,
If
really.
it's nothing, then it's a very baffling call and something you cannot justify. You cannot say that
Absolutely.
it was flattest of the wickets like the last 10. These two teams played 250,
Hmm.
260 plus was scored and then chased down. So it's not the case.
Absolutely. Snehashish, how impressive was Madhav Tiwari in his first game? Taking two crucial wickets of batters who could have finished the game then and there. Priyan Sharia and Cooper Connolly, big names. And then after that, basically just doing what was needed lower down the order with the bat, building that crucial partnership, hitting those timely boundaries. How would you assess Madhav Tiwari in his first game?
I think again, I think this is, the IPL is all about, right? Giving opportunities to unknown names
Hmm.
and showing and giving that platform that okay, you come, showcase your talent and showcase the world that what you can do on your day. And I think Madhav Theory did that. I think getting an opportunity itself is a huge task, I think, in IPL, considering the quality of cricketers that every team has. So first of all, getting that opportunity and to encash that opportunity, with the ball, with the bat, and it's a match winning contribution, especially with the bat. As you mentioned, with the ball, more than Cooper Connolly today, I think the Priyan Chada wicket
Priyan
was
Sharia.
fantastic. I think the way he was batting today, Prabhsimran Singh struggled.
Hmm.
He's struggling. I think
Hmm.
18 or
Hmm.
15, if I'm not wrong.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
rare to see, Prabhsimran Singh struggling with the bat. But Priyan Sharia was batting on a defined surface. I think the way he was taking all the bowlers, be it Mitchell Stark, be it any other bowlers, I think he was batting on a defined surface. But excellent. Big wicket to start off with. Then obviously Cooper Connolly wicket. And who would have thought that Madhav Thiari will come in and score those important 18 runs, unbeaten 18 runs, and win the game for the visitors. I think excellent batting, excellent contribution, and maybe at a perfect time, maybe a perfect all-round option for DC to for going forward. But yes, I think one thing that any team management should do with this kind of talents that we have to give more chances. It's not about that
Hmm.
one or two chances. That's okay for one or two games. We are going to try you. Despite you do well or bad, we will not continue after that. That shouldn't happen. If he performs well, I think that player should continue and team management should continue with that decision. I think this playing 11 DC should continue. You
Hmm.
don't have someone like Patham Nisanka. You are playing, David Miller in the middle order, and obviously you have the other three foreigners sorted, and you have someone like Madhav Theory at the lower order to have that support along with Ashutosh Sharma, David Miller, and obviously inform Axar Patel if he does continue that form. So I think this playing level looks very good for DC. To continue forward. Obviously, there might be a place for someone like Kuldeep Yadav, but apart from that, I don't see any certain changes that they should make going forward.
Absolutely. Vaibhav, I asked this question in the pre-match live. Not including David Miller was a big blunder. And today, when he came back, he showed what he can do. Pacing his innings as per the conditions, rotating strike, taking his time, then accelerating. The typical David Miller template in a clutch situation. I mean, obviously, very, very crucial part of the team, and he should be in the team from here on. Okay. So he's once again gone. Snehashish, why don't you take it? David Miller.
Yes, I think Vaibhav having some network issue, that is why. Yeah, I think David Miller, I think excellent. I think this is what we have been discussing in every live, that why are you not playing someone like David Miller? David Miller is not a new player. He is a proven stuff and he has done so many times in different leagues, especially in this tournament and for South Africa also on different occasions. But unfortunately, somehow DC was thinking differently. They were thinking that okay, we might do well with a combination where maybe we cannot play David Miller, but it was not going in their way. And finally, see, David Miller was back today, and the way he batted, that flat batted sixes, that flat batted sixes were excellent, sheer power and experience. I think he knows when to accelerate it, when to when to surface under the pressure and then do well. I think he knows that, and he completely used that experience. And again, he proved that you cannot name a playing 11 of DC without him. If you do that, you are going to fail, and that is, I think, that is what, again, I think that is hopefully DC management know after this now, and hopefully he can continue in this playing 11.
Absolutely. First things first, sorry, our app has been misbehaving. It keeps removing us, and we don't know what's wrong with StreamYard tonight.
StreamYard
But
misbehaves every single time.
every day,
Sometimes
every day.
glitches. I don't know if they are listening to us. Please solve these bugs, fix these bugs because it's not a problem from our
It's
end.
very annoying in between a
But since
show.
you asked about David Miller, I want to
Yeah.
mention this. See, I have been a very big critic of DC team management and how they have made the selection calls and everything. But with respect to their overseas selection, I think one thing that you have to understand behind not playing somebody like David Miller, I think it's just of the overseas limitations and combinations. See, their top order has been a struggle, and
Hmm.
Pathum Nisanka, even the last match was their best bat. After award from, if you look at the, he scored a half century, and after that, DC crumbled. Like KL and Pathum Nisanka gave a good start. They were decent start, and Pathum Nisanka has been the one of the better players. I will not say the standout, but one of the better players. The one who has complemented KL Rahul really well from the other end. At
Yeah.
times KL Rahul has not done, but he has taken the attack to the bowlers. So Pathum Nisanka is one. Tristan Stubbs has been the second most informed batter or second most
Yeah,
run
yeah, yeah.
scorer for DC in this season after KL Rahul. So you
Hmm.
cannot draw by Tristan Stubbs as well. How you have not utilized him as a finisher. His best utilization is as a finisher. If you look at his strike rate in the last 5 overs, it's over 250, 260, 270 something is there. Then you have to play a Lungi and Gidi because you don't have a good bowling combination. You have terrible bowling attack. Terrible. If you look at the resources you have, so that's why you have to play a Mitchell Stark and Lungi and Gidi both. That is where you cannot find a place for David Miller. And why you have to play a Tristan Stubbs as well? Because again, in case if you required, although they don't use him, but or if in case if he has bowled enough in the nets as a off spinner, tall off spinner, in case if
Hmm.
you need, he can roll the arm over. That could be the thinking behind not playing a
Yeah.
David Miller. And but again, David Miller is a very seasoned T20 camera, a T20 globetrotter. Last year, I think he was with LSG. LSG didn't use him properly.
Hmm. Hmm.
GT used him properly. Hardik
Very
Pandya
well.
used him I think best season after Kings 11 Punjab. After in
Hmm.
2014, it was with GT in 2022 when they lifted the
Yeah.
title, and in 2020, I think that was his best season because
In fact,
he
I
was given
thought
a role.
this year he would go back to GT during the auction. I
Hmm.
had I assumed.
Even I also thought that
Since they
might be,
didn't
but
retain
yes,
Rutherford, I thought they
yeah.
wanted Miller back.
Yeah. I
But
thought I
yeah,
also thought that they might go for because it is a tendency of franchisee to bring back their player who
yeah,
has done well with them. But again, see, David Miller never. It has never been a question about his ability or questioning his ability. He's always been a good performer. It's always about how you trust him, and with overseas players, it's always about the combination. I think DC
mm,
management here. I would feel a bit harsh on. It was a bit harsh on Pathum Nisanka's end because he has
yeah,
done good things at the top order. And
yeah,
look again today also, top order crumbled. Top order has been very inconsistent. You again dropped Nitish Rana. You brought in a Sahil Parag at number 3. That didn't work. You brought in an Abhishek Pural. That didn't. Now when you will bring in Prithvi Shaw. Prithvi Shaw again always be a topic of concern or discussion whether if it's playing domestic cricket or earlier we used to talk about justice for Sarfaraz. Now it's time for justice for Shaw. People will start trending this just because you have utilized everyone, almost all the players.
so
Now
true.
when you will play a Prithvi Shaw, because Prithvi Shaw has been with this team for many years, even before these players, the ones who made
Yeah,
their debuts today. So why are you not playing a Prithvi Shaw who had a great season with Maharashtra, opening with Arshin Kulkarni? That's that only DC management can answer. That why not Prithvi Shaw, despite him being the most successful opener that you have after KL Rahul, is but because the result came, I don't see them making changes. Maybe they will stick with Abhishek Purel and Sahil Parag. But I personally I would like to see a Prithvi Shaw how he comes back because again, good player. At least in white ball cricket, he has no problems.
Mm.
In red ball, I would say he still has to make some technical adjustments.
Absolutely. I'll follow up on this, Nehashish. But is it wise to make so many changes to your opening pair? Because aside from the fact that, yeah, I mean, one of them is scoring runs, but then again, there's a certain degree of chemistry, understanding that builds between two opening partners when they open together. If you look at RCB, I'll just give an example. Phil Salt and Virat Kohli have massive understanding. And now that someone new, I mean, Jacob Bethel, he's a great talent, he's opening. We have seen them struggle. So, is it wise to keep changing the opening combination so many times? DC has done that, KKR have done that. Instead of doing this, could they not stick to one pair and give them the backing? Your thoughts?
Please mention LSG. They are using Aiden
LSG, I am so
McCarthy.
sorry. I am so sorry. Yeah, yeah.
They are
Ayush
using
Badoni, Rishabh Pant,
Aiden
everyone. They've
Makram
tried
at Sambar
everyone, I
Khan.
think.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Makram the finisher for them.
Margaret. Oh my God.
So,
Yeah, I know you're really angry about that. Yeah. So am
Since
I.
yes,
since you since you both are there, let me give you one more team, KKR. They have tried Nareen,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
I
Saha,
took KKR.
Alex,
I
a
said
lot of
KKR.
names.
I
yeah.
took KKR's name, yeah. So these
So
teams, it is good to stick with one opening pair and give them the backing. What are your thoughts?
see, I will not say only on an opening pair. I think it's always better that how quickly a team gets to know their best possible playing level. I think the
Absolutely.
combination that they will play, the more quicker you get to know that, it is easy for the team to to analyze the way they would love to continue the momentum in the tournament. I think for DC that has been the problem. Obviously, the top order they have made so many changes. Even in the middle order, one day so many games they didn't even consider someone like David Miller. Obviously, the overseas slot has been that problem. What Vaibhav mentioned, because obviously you are trying to someone like Pathum Nissank at the top, considering his recent form in the World Cup, and the experience that he has as an overseas player. But somehow I think he has not been that consistent enough. Yes, he has scored runs in the last game
Yeah.
also. He gave not only in the last game, but he gave few starts also,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not consistent. You want
Hmm.
Pathum Nissanka to score those quick fire. I think Pathum Nissanka is one
He
kind of a
is not a player like
kind of a
that.
batter
Exactly.
of KL Rahul. I think they cannot be
Absolutely.
like Prabsimran Priyansari. That cannot happen by both of them. They can be there, score 55 for 0 in 6 overs and set the tone. But they cannot score 70 plus 80 plus run. That cannot happen. Only once in a blue moon can happen. So I think that has been the problem. But again, if you use someone like Abhishek Podel, and also even that also raises question whether he will be able to do that also or not. I think Sahil Parak again, for a youngster to go out there, bat at number 3 and ask him to do that job. I think it's a very huge task. I think he played, I think, 2 3 beautiful shots,
Hmm. Hmm.
well timed shots. That was brilliant to see. But again, it was a huge task. So I think I also kind of prefer, Prithvi Shaw to make a comeback. I think he has that ability.
Hmm.
He can be the only solution for DC at the top, who can come and score those 30 of 10 balls and give and help DC to score those 65, 70 runs in the power play. But don't know what is the thing, not using Prithvi Shaw again and again in this team. But let's see. The way DC is making changes, I think one more loss, they are out of the tournament. Then we might see Prithvi Shaw in action. But let's see. But as of now, I don't see they are making any certain changes, despite bringing in
Hmm.
maybe someone like Kuldeep Yadav in the next game. But overall, again, so many changes. If any team, not only DC, if any team making so many changes in their combination, that definitely do not help any kind of team to get any momentum in a tournament like IPL.
I think that shows the
Absolutely.
desperation because you are desperate to win, so you are making a lot of changes that might plan A might work, my plan B might work, and you are trying multiple plans in multiple games
Hmm.
just because you don't have a road ahead. You have understood, you have accepted your defeat already. That from this point for us to qualify is not really possible. Realistically, it's not there given the position of the top five teams. I would include CSK because they are at the five. So top five teams. So now from this position to for them to qualify, it's very difficult, and that's why they are making a lot of changes. Okay, let's try new players ahead because before we end this season, so that we know whom to retain, whom to not.
Yeah. Vaibhav, and last question to you before I move on to the questions from our viewers. I will bring back the topic from our pre match about Punjab Kings fielding. It has been very concerning. It has been, I think, it's a pain to the eyes to watch those catches getting dropped. Very crucial catches, not in one game, two games, but consecutively, and catches win you matches. So, what would you say about their fielding? And they need to get their act together if they have. I mean, they want to stay alive in the playoffs race.
See how many times we have seen one or two can just changing the course of the entire game. I
Yeah.
remember CSK RCB, Virat Kohli getting dropped and mid on Shivam Dube. Shivam Dube again dropped one important catch in another game. I think it was Abhishek Sharma, if I'm not wrong. Abhishek Sharma against SRH in Hyderabad. He dropped that. He was standing in the deep square like position, and he couldn't grab on that particular delivery. So I think yeah, it has been seen time and time again. Enough instances in this particular season. You name only one person. I don't want to take the name. I think everybody will understand whom I am talking about. He was
Yeah,
dropped
yeah.
as
We
well.
don't take names,
We have to.
but we know.
He was dropped as well. People will say injury. Team management will say injury, but he was practicing in the nets. He was batting really well. I don't know what injury. It was not even specified. But let's see. But coming to see, it's an individual drill. Fielding is something you cannot even CSK last to last game they used Shivam Dube as an impact player. They didn't use him as a complete player despite him being an all rounder. So that itself tells you that there are concerns. This is a big concern. Fielding is a big concern. I don't know how you are going to. It's an individual thing again. It doesn't matter how much. See, I will bring in the example of Indian team only since last year's England tour. Take how many catches you have dropped in the England tour. The score
Oh
line
my
still was
god.
2-2. After that, you went to Asia Cup. There you said, okay, Dubai's ring of fire. So that's why we couldn't take catches. But again, it was an excuse. You went to Australia, you dropped catches there. You have been, and who has been under the scanner? It is T. Dilip. But is T. Dilip not doing his job properly? He's doing his job properly. But if players, again, coaches, their job is to prepare the players to the best of their ability outside. When players go inside the rope, they are on their own. If we have a simple catch is coming, like I gave the example of Suyash Sharma, if he is trying to make it fancy or look like he is taking a stunner, that's not a fielding coach problem. That's his decision. That's his problem. So it's all come down to an individual. I think it's an individual game. Player coaches only better your skill where you are going wrong. He will tell you, okay, if it is coming from this height, you should take it a reverse cup. If it is coming flat to you, you shouldn't be taking reverse cup. There are chances of fumble. So that these kind of technical adjustment, fielding coach can make you. It can teach you. But at the moment when the catch is coming towards you, it's you who has to take the catch. Fielding coach will not help you and pass on some messages to you. So it's an individual thing. But bigger concern for Punjab again is to find, the wicket takers again. Good change that they brought in a Yash Thakur. Yash Thakur started, of course, he gave runs, but I think he took wickets. This is what I tell. This is what I said about Yash Thakur. He might go for runs, but he's a wicket taker. Whenever he played his first game this season, took wickets. Started with the Bishop balls, he took wickets. He will go for runs, but again he's a wicket taker. So you get to have a wicket taker in the list. Vijay Kumar Vyashak was doing wrong. He was continuously leaking runs as well, more than 9-10 runs per over, but he was not taking wickets. At least you have got some wicket taker. Yes, you can say you can hold runs as well, but in this format, when teams are scoring 200, it's very difficult to score runs. I think Marco Jansen is the biggest concern for me right now, more than anything else. Marco Jansen not being utilized proper as a batter with the ball. He's looking out of sort, completely out of sort. This is the worst version of Marco Jansen I have ever seen. Even when he was with SRH, I didn't see him bowl this badly. So I think Marco Jansen, I don't know what has happened. I think time for Punjab Kings, to drop him, bring in an Azmatullah Umar, bringing a Lockie Ferguson back. But let's drop Marco Jansen and give him time. Off time might help to rediscover his mojo back.
Absolutely. Let's see if they take these bold calls. But we have many comments today. We have a super chat from Nikhilesh Reddy. Snehashish, Shreyas out of cap race. I think he means captaincy race, and 49 for one post did not go well. Okay, this is a social media banter that has come up.
Okay, okay. No,
But
I
this is a
don't think
super
that,
chat.
I don't think that after four consecutive losses, suddenly the rumors that we have been listening, I think for the last few days, that he is among that, top contenders to
I
be the
have heard
next
10
captain for India.
names. I have heard
Yeah,
10
yeah,
names.
actually, yeah. We I think we have done shows also on that.
Yeah.
That there are so many names that are being hovering around that they can be the new captain for India in a T20 format. But Shreyas Iyer definitely. I think if that is going to happen, Shreyas Iyer definitely will be there, one of the top candidates. There is no doubt about that. Suddenly, four consecutive losses does do not make him a worst captain. It can happen to anyone. You see the consistency of him as a captain for the last 2 years.
Hmm.
2024.
Across teams.
Yes, across teams. 2024 champion, 2025 runners up, and now again they had a fantastic start. And despite losing four games, they are still in a very strong position in the race for the playoff. So there is no deniable that he will be in a strong contender for the captaincy race if the stories are true. But I don't agree with your comment that he is out of the captaincy race.
Yeah, true. Weber Fitmonk is saying how great this guy Stark is. Within two balls today, he changed the game, justifying his price tag again this season. Mitchell Stark, the legend.
That's what I say. See, he didn't start off really well. If you look at his first spell, and then, but the obviously figures won't tell you the impact that he had. The two important wickets at the end, I think it made a 15-20 odd run difference, if not more. Marcus Stoinis hitting form good. Shashank Singh can do the damage anytime, even in his worst days. So I think two important wickets, and I think that was one of the major factors behind DC's win, because it went down to the wire. So these small, if it was a big margin of defeat, he would have said okay, that didn't really matter. But in close games, you often see the small contributions as well, because it makes a telling. But that's why I said it might not be mentioned, or not a lot of people will be talking about Mitchell Stark's last spell. But I think that was one of the key factors behind DC's win. I mean, even they understand, given the form of Marcus Stoinis. I think Marcus Stoinis has been in great hitting form, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is why that was a very important wicket. And countryman Marcus Stoinis understands Mitchell Stark really well. But Mitchell Stark, I have always seen Mitchell Stark always gets the better of his countryman. Travis Head is his bunny from the early days, when Travis Head was playing for South Australia. Then from starting, Travis Head has never understood how to tackle this Mitchell Stark. But like same goes with others as well. I think very difficult for Australian batters to tackle Mitchell Stark.
Absolutely. And a lot of comments on Punjab Kings fielding that we have been discussing. Many catch dropping and wides from PBKS. We discussed this. Snehashish Barnik Das is saying KKR wins four in a row, whereas PBKS loses four in a row. Do you see a new hope for KKR after this?
Yeah, didn't expect it to discuss this kind of thing in the middle of the season, the way KK started. But yes, suddenly PBK is a team who started so brilliantly, and on paper I think they're a brilliant side so far. They are still, but yeah, it can happen in this format. On a particular day, if certain things doesn't go according to your plan, I think then you can suffer a loss, and that is I think going on for PBK suddenly. Four consecutive losses. But KKR, I think, excellent. Four wins. And with this kind of, I think, results all around, I think KKR fans and KKR team management might be getting a hope that maybe let's game by game. Let's talk one game by game. And now they will be facing, the defending champions, RCB in Raipur, in the next game. So let's see what happens there. But now see, I think for KKR there is nothing to lose. I think the way they started the tournament, even I think they were they didn't maybe thought that they will be in this kind of a position after a certain point, that they will end up winning four consecutive games, but they did that. I think one factor, I think they did a superb improvement, I think, fielding in all four wins. If you see,
Mhm.
the catches have been brilliant, the ground fielding, and especially Ajinkar Rahane catches, sharp catches, high catches. Although Robman Paul catches, I'm not mentioning that because those are brilliant, and he's known for those kind of catches. But I think Rahane and other fielders also, dropping few chances in the earlier games, which didn't help KKR. But in the last four wins, I think they did those job, and that eventually help the bowlers and also the batters to chase down modest totals. So I think let's see how they do. But for PBKs, as I mentioned, that this kind of things happen in this format, but doesn't matter that they are still a fantastic side and one of the top contenders for this season still, despite these four losses.
Hmm. Also, a lot of comments on Chahal not being utilized. Nikhilesh Reddy
Yeah,
says, why Chahal is picked when he does not bat or bowl? It is similar to Chinnaswamy and trust your best bowler. Correct? Tom says, Tom. Okay, Tom Cube. Okay, three times. Last match, only one over. This match, no overs at all. Why Chahal is not bowling? It's plain brain fade, irrespective of pitch and conditions. Uh,
surprise.
Surprising. This is really surprising. I mean, even if, I don't know, pitch cannot be the reason why you do not bowl your best bowler.
if
This is
if
really
Pete,
surprising.
if was always been a pitch oriented bowler, then he should have been the best bowler of this tournament. By no chance he
Absolutely.
could have been, right. And he has bowled majority of his career in Chinnaswamy. Think about that. That small ground,
Small
the
boundaries.
batting friendly track, and there he used to take 3, 4, 5 wickets, regularly. So I think
Hmm.
he has been that kind of a bowler. I think pitch does not make that much of difference to his bowling, but somehow there might be something thought process, maybe the conditions, maybe that we cannot understand, by sitting here. Maybe the team management or Shreya Share might be thinking, but just seeing the result in the last few games, that is why the question is raising that why I'm not using someone like Chahal despite having it in the squad.
We'll take this comment, Webber. Saima says, I don't see PBKs qualifying. If they lose two more, they are out.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they can come back from here, or is
No,
it going to be
obviously, see,
another?
they definitely can come back. But again, if you're
Yeah.
not bowling UC Kelly or best bowler, then obviously it's a
Yeah,
concern.
that is
Then
exactly
you
what we were
nobody.
discussing before you came
If
in.
if
Yeah.
you're if you're making blunders,
Hmm.
nobody can help you out. Nobody. If you keep on making these lapses in the fielding, if you'll not rectify those mistakes there, then nobody can help you. And this is where they have to learn from DC. They have to learn from DC, not this
Hmm.
DC of last year. DC was the top contender. Everybody was like DC will qualify easily, and then they missed out. 2024 CSK were easily qualifying, but then what happened? As suddenly a surge from RCB, and then that game became a decider. CSK was RCB in Bangalore, which RCB won. So I think you have to learn. In the last two seasons, you have seen two teams among the top contenders to make the qualifiers and missing out. So this is the time again. I said in the pre-match as well. You don't want slip ups. You don't want a string of losses, or it can hamper your chances badly. Again, I said two more losses and they are out. So again, you cannot do it, and especially the Punjab losing is good news for other teams. Look at CSK will be very
Hmm.
happy to see a Punjab Kings lose because they know DC cannot surpass them, but Punjab Kings can definitely slip down. And then there are other teams like RCB, GT, SRH, CSK, happy teams. If Punjab Kings are, because Punjab, if they qualify for the knockouts, then they become a dangerous team. Then they become a dangerous team.
Hmm.
So I think it's a good news for other teams. But I think today, specifically in this game, PBKs was cursed by two RCB fans before the start of the match. Two RCB
I don't know what
fans,
you're talking about. I don't
they
know.
they 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 wished for. They said, I said, ki this is their wish. That's Punjab loses so that they don't take the top spot from RCB.
I
That
don't know
is
what he's
what their
talking
wish.
about.
And I will not take it as a prediction. At that time also I said it's their wish, because when fans talk about their teams, it's their wish. It's not a prediction. When they become neutral, then they give the prediction. And I was like, I took the safe option. Dharamshala, Punjab had a good record. Given the DC's form, I even and also making a lot of changes. Kuldeep not playing, I said no. But I think today RCB fans won and Punjab lost.
Absolutely. And a very interesting comment has come up, Snehashish. I'd like you to take it and then we'll close the show. Nikhilesh Reddy says Shreyas tactically blundered by bowling out Arshdeep. Even if you're bowling, Arshdeep had a talk with Shreyas why he was bowling. Stoinis cannot be your fifth bowler and have a sixth bowling option.
Yes, I think with Stoinis being your fifth option, I think that is a concern, and obviously that only
Hmm.
happened because you didn't you use someone like Jivendra Chahal, right? Then Stoinis can be your sixth bowling option.
Why you didn't use Shashank Singh? That's also a question. Why he
Oh
hasn't been
yes,
Ah,
bowled enough by
Shashank,
you?
the new all-rounder.
that
Yes,
was
the
a
new
good.
all-rounder. Yes, but see, uh, I think Shreya had thought that the ball was seaming a little bit. They were swinging, so maybe use Arshdeep to take those early wickets. To break that bone of the backbone of the chase as quickly as possible. That didn't happen. He picked up 2 wickets, was very economical, but again, I think in this particular format, always captain. I think a successful captain, always go with his gut feeling. On a day when it works, then it's a mastermind, master stroke, and when it doesn't work, then it's a failure. And I think for the last 4 games, I think somehow it is not working for Shreyas Iyer. That is why maybe team is struggling. But see, I think again I will tell that as a team they are one of the top teams still now, despite these losses, and they can make a strong comeback. And that is now I think this is the stage where the captaincy of Shreyas Iyer will be
Hmm.
tested more than ever.
Hmm.
Now, after this 4 losses, if he managed to guide this team to the playoff, then the final, and maybe win the title for the first time ever in Punjab history, then I think only he will be in the contention for the next captain. So let's see one thing. Just one thing I want to mention. I
Hmm.
think for DC, I think obviously in the bowling we discussed, but I think both Mukesh Kumar and Akif Nabi were brilliant. I think
Ah,
the way I think they bowled and the economy was perfect. I think all the bowlers went above 11, 12, but they were under 8. I think that was brilliant.
yeah.
Again, didn't Akib Nabi, despite bowling well, didn't take a wicket. I don't know
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
what
good.
is happening with him, what is wrong with him. But Mukesh, see, that's why I said I don't know whether you drop a Kuldeep Yadav, you drop a Natarajan, but Mukesh is an all-phase bowler, and Mukesh is one bowler you should always back. He's always he's always one bowler that whom you can rely with important wickets. He always get big wickets, important wickets. Against RCB, I remember that win against Bengaluru when Rajat
mm,
Patidar was in great
Hmm.
form. In middle overs he came in and dismissed Rajat Patidar cheaply for a cheap score, and then DC won that game. So I think Mukesh Kumar, I always will have him in this team. Doesn't matter whether other players or not. Mitchell Stark, Lungi Ngedi, and Mukesh Kumar, and then you can have a Madhav Thiari as a fourth seamer. I think this bowling attacks look good, and I will personally will have Kuldeep back again. Aki bowled really well, but again I will have Kuldeep back in this team.
Absolutely. So let's see what happens from here on. And with that, we'd like to come to an end of our post show. Thank you so much to all of you for watching our live and dropping so many comments down below. Thank you so much, Snehashish and Weber, for joining, of course. And do not forget to stay tuned to our channel. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, we'll be back once again tomorrow with our pre-shows and post-shows once again. So do keep supporting us this way and do keep your eyes on Rev Sports. And good night. Bye bye.